Yeah.
Can you compare that mic?
This mic, these are new. We've got a nice receiver down here. We've got two of them. So one is for the main presenter and one is for people that just come up and present shortly. Yes?
Those people on the other line, for those people on the other line, no offense, but we made a suggestion that they keep their mic on mute. So
And that's the other thing. I know Gene is muted. Everybody on the other end of this conference, please mute your microphones so we don't hear you sniffling, typing, sneezing, scratching, and other embarrassing things. Looks like everybody is muted, and if you have a question, feel free to unmute and interrupt whoever's presenting. HTML keyword. That's interesting. So, any other questions about this?
How are you going to involve them by asking questions?
Involve who?
Yeah, the people. I like to know who's out there when we're starting, and when we're talking, we need to actively involve the people that are out there. Otherwise,
that's right. So again, because the people on the other end of this call are at a disadvantage, I'm going to suggest to them that they just interrupt. And also, in the future, when you guys chime in, or when you guys connect to the conference, please say Gene is here, Murad is here, Teresa's here. If you have a mic, Teresa will get you a computer.
Murad is here, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
And with my apologies, I will need to leave around 10:30 to help my Japanese colleagues to.
Hopefully, we'll be done by then. So with that said, I will leave this up to Kit. And oh, please, can you pass the mic down, Steve?
Yes.
I think, how come we cannot see the faces in the projection?
They are not sharing their webcams.
Oh, they don't? Okay.
We don't know what they're doing.
They don't want it.
Hi, Dean is here. Oh, great. Thanks, Dean.
Excellent. All right. So again, please mute your microphones and let's go.
How this one works.
Oh yeah. For the record, guys, flashing green means it's active. If it's flashing red, it's on mute.
And mute is a button.
Yeah, the mute is the button.
Okay, someone doesn't have their mute on.
That'd be Dean.
We need to thank you for putting your mute on. That's helpful. Okay. So, I just very quickly, here's the ambitious schedule that I've set out for today. We may not get to number 5. We have a bunch of undergraduate committee proposals to the faculty. General, the chairman for that committee, and he's going to be presenting both classes and schedules and curricula to the faculty for your input. We also have, we're continuing with our committee reports. We'll have a graduate committee report and our student clubs. I'll have a series of announcements. We'll open the floor to announcements for others, and then if we have time, we have the continuation on implementing the RCM2. And these are the 5 questions we were charged to look at. We didn't get through very many of them. We were looking at philosophically last meeting time. And then I guess I did not put out a survey or a doodle to find out if there's interest in continuing this particular discussion. We need to have any comments into the dean by the end of this semester. So why don't I let General take over? And you get to wear this. I just turned it on.
Okay. I just put it over here.
Oh,
so I have to wear this.
yes.
What way?
Left side.
This side?
Yes. It's counterintuitive, but yeah, you're on the right side.
Flip it? No.
So that it goes on like this.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. It flips over that way. Yeah.
I never wore this one too. Okay. So the undergraduate committee met, and then there are a couple of the new course proposals. So they made a copy, and then they distributed it to you.
The first one is the ABE 450/550 proposed by Steve Poe, Effective Communications in Engineering and Science. And this is going to replace English 308 Technical Writing, which is a required course for biosystems engineering majors. So the rationale is, I think the most important, the benefits to our department is to increase the RCM. I'm sorry, student credit at work, which is important in RCM too.
But I many students complain about 308.
That's actually the another very important aspect, because the English 308 they are focused on basically all majors in University of Arizona, so it's actually not very appropriate for engineering majors. So the undergraduate committee were very positive and enthusiastic about creating this one. So we just want to know that how ABE faculty actually think about this class in general. So do we have to vote or about this?
Is this going to be voted to the college now?
That was a good question. For classes, historically, I don't remember what our policy has been. I remember that we brought, I have to turn it on. I remember, so Jungle was referring to what our traditional procedure has been. My understanding is that the undergraduate committee would come, or graduate committee, whatever changes that they proposed, they would bring to the general faculty, have a faculty discussion, and then a faculty vote before it was moved forward. And that's one of the reasons why we have the undergraduate committee. They do all the legwork, and they think about it, and they put it together for the faculty vote. But because we're a faculty-run governance, essentially here, we want the feedback from the entire faculty for the changes that we make to our curriculum and courses. Go ahead. Can someone ask the
Yeah, well, you can go
Yes, it is.
It's not
And I think if it's a course that hinges on our accreditation, it probably should be taken to the curriculum committee in the college.
I believe so, because this is not just tech elective or ABE design elective, but this is part of the required class for ABE, biosystems engineering major. And
it probably will draw some students from some of the other engineering disciplines.
yes. And
college at Ag. I think the college at Ag is supposed to be the other person.
no, College of Engineering.
Just college of engineering?
Yes, it is, unfortunately.
Unless it's used to be what used to be our ASM classes, or if it's not engineering classes. I think that we can send it to the College of Ag for their information. But in terms of getting approval to let us put it in our curriculum, it should go to the College of Engineering because we're our program.
I am actually quite positive in this class, but there is a small possibility that Jim Bajans may say no about this class, because basically he wants this class to be taken by all engineering majors and this class to be taken by all engineering majors, like the CE 214, 218, something like that, right? So, and then we are not the only one. All the other engineering programs, they are trying to create their own version of lower division and the 200 level classes to increase their SCH. And Jim Bajans is obviously not happy about it. Yes.
Well, so one of the options would be to make it not required, but to allow it to be a substitution, right? To allow it to be a substitution, and then it wouldn't have the same effect. So if it does become an issue, that might be a way around that particular point.
And also, you could route it through the College of Agriculture.
No, actually, if the course is required for the biosystems engineering major, then it needs to go through the College of Engineering undergraduate curriculum committee anyway, I think. If it is an elective, then we don't really care. I mean, they don't really care, but since this is a required class.
Well, with this English 308, CE, civil engineering, and several other engineering departments have already started replacing this class. So
That I do not know, unfortunately.
they've already started.
No, that I do not know.
I do.
Okay. They're
Civil
already-
engineering and a couple
They're
of
creating
others.
their own?
Yes, they are creating their own. I do know that.
Okay, thank you.
Could I?
Just your honor, speak clearly through this mic.
We'll just pass it around.
Yeah, please.
Sorry, you can get up.
I don't know. I need assistance.
I would prefer to see it as a required class.
Mhm.
I'm afraid if we don't require it, we'll have trouble filling it. We'll have trouble filling it and teaching, right? So if we require our own, but we leave it open to other engineering majors. I'm quite sure not all of the engineering majors will have their own communication class. We have an opportunity to get a lot of engineering management majors to take some of our classes.
And one other point is that we're also trying to backfill and support still the UMA programs. And this is a class that could serve that function for both the engineering students in UMA and potentially the ASM students in UMA. So there is a big potential there because they have not got the same access to English 308 that our students do.
And how many UMA students do you normally talk about per semester?
Well, when we taught irrigation last, we had about 18 UMA students take it. So the classes that we teach every other year, we end up with about 18 students in it. If we try to offer it every year, it would probably be a little less.
But we, I would think that this would be more appropriate for the engineering UMA kids, and at that point, there's probably only 5 right now. So it wouldn't be a huge impact, and because we're hybrid, we may be able to work out a Skyping for the presentations, and so that actually the UMA engineering group is really hungry for good online classes to help with their programming, because they're reliant on upper division classes. Right now it's through the SIE, Systems and Industrial Engineering, and they don't have very many minors, so this would actually help them with their.
Yeah, also I think a class like this is good on a smaller scale because it's writing, it's interaction, it's presenting. Seems like that would be good in a 30-student class.
I also know from speaking to students who are currently in our English 308 class that they are having challenges with the instruction and how that's being taught. They have actually mentioned, and some of our very good students, that they have mentioned that, you know, they haven't received any papers back. They don't know where they stand in the class, you know, and that's very confusing. I mean, how do you know how you're doing in the class if you don't even know, you know, at this point, what grade you're getting in your class? You know, so I think for our own students, having an instructor who can give them feedback and...
Oh, actually I know the answer for that.
Yeah.
That's just, many of them are just practices, which is not graded.
Right.
So that's why they don't get any feedback. Because the class size is quite big, they cannot grade everything, so they choose not to grade.
So I think the instruction mode in this would be better for our
Yeah.
students.
Because they're smaller size.
I think we're ready to go.
Do you need...
I move that we accept this as a class, as a required class for students.
Can we, okay, I second the motion. And now I'd like to make sure that the people online have an opportunity to discuss anything they might want to have any questions about.
Any discussions? Any other discussion before we move?
Oh, they put it on mute, so they can chat.
So yeah, just check over here.
Let me ask for comments.
Feel free to chime in, guys.
Yeah, they're asking John to speak louder. So should I have to type in?
No, they can hear you.
They can hear you. Okay. Any other discussions? No? All right. So we are ready to go. So
They should turn on the mics now so that we can hear their eyes and face.
So how can I turn on the mic?
Just tell them.
Yeah,
They have to do it on their end.
verbalize, they need to do it on their end.
Okay.
Or they can type the response.
Or they can type it.
Yep. Mark said I vote yes to move forward.
Okay, cool.
So we're just gonna raise our hand, right? So everybody, and then who is in favor of accepting this class, raise your hand. Yeah. Okay. The motion passed. The second one is the proposed course title is the From Genes to Ecosystems by Bonnie Horowitz. Course number would be ABE 487/587. And then I expect this class to be the ABE Design Elective, am I correct? ABE Design Elective? So, Bonnie, can you actually briefly talk about this class?
Sure. so the, is this on now? Got it. Okay. So this class, the main concept of it is that, sorry, my voice is dead today. The main concept is that it would really be able to teach students from to learn about metagenomic methods in the One Health kind of in the One Health concept, and that they'd be able to learn not only just the metagenomic methods, but also metagenomics from an engineering perspective. So it's a project-based class, so the concept is that it pairs both the metagenomic concepts and sort of intellectual side of digging into these really diverse data sets with also having a computational hands-on component. And the course ultimately culminates in a project. So through the entire course, the very first part of the course, if you go to just look at the, there's a lot of material here, I was just kind of putting down, but the idea is that it's a Tuesday, Thursday class, that we have the first part, which would be a formal lecture on metagenomic methods and different components of metagenomics, tools and toolkits. And then the second part of the course would be a a 10-minute break, and then the second part of the course would focus on real hands-on programming skills. So we have basically the course is modeled after, for the programming piece, is actually modeled after a program, a course that I taught in Cold Spring Harbor Labs for programming for biologists and for engineers. And so so basically we're borrowing that kind of 2-week intensive course and spreading it across the semester so that they get the hands-on piece for doing all of their project-based learning. And the course also goes into a number of different bioinformatics tools and different platforms for using for learning about bioinformatics methods, and in particular related to metagenomics and One Health. So that's kind of an overview of the course, and really trying to teach students both the concepts involved in digging into these data sets, but also having the practical hands-on experience. So the major kind of outcomes, there's going to be different programming assignments for this course. So 50% of the course is based on their ability to complete all of these different programming assignments. They also have, throughout the course, there are different milestones for their projects. So including, identifying the problem and making a proposal about what data sets they work with. So they're going to work with real live metagenomic data sets from projects such as like human microbiome or from earth microbiome, or we can even accommodate bringing in specific data sets for graduate students that they're actually working with for this course. So that's the concept. And then in addition to that, they also have a requirement for a metagenomics report and presentation, which is 25% of the grade. The undergraduates and graduates have different measures, so the graduate students are expected to work on their own, do their own projects, and also do their own presentation on metagenomics paper. And so the undergrads will just focus on essentially taking a particular metagenomics paper new in the literature within the last year, breaking it down, and then looking at it from an engineering perspective, and writing a report about how that particular publication was designed, in order to get at some of the core topic areas in metagenomics. And whereas the graduate students will have to not only present on their paper, but they'll have to actually take that paper and compare it to a number of others that are part of, at least 5 others that are part of that same genre of literature, and write a 10-page report about that and present on it. And then the project, the undergrads are working in groups of 4 to 5, and trying to, complete the programming assignments and get these, the pieces in for actually implementing the project. Whereas the graduate students have to work solo for that project. And then I would guide them through the whole semester, approve their project, help them determine what that project would be. We work with them on those coding assignments or things that come up to implement the project, and also an alternative design for that project. And then ultimately it ends in a formal implementation of the project, and then a write-up of all of the methods and pieces that they worked on through the semester. So the idea is to try to really create a project-based class that's hands-on learning and gets to real methodologies.
I have a question. This sounds like an awesome course. The thing that I don't understand is how the engineering component works into it. I understand traditional engineering, my engineering. I don't understand the kind of stuff that you're going to be doing and how it goes along with our accreditation. So just like briefly, like the engineering project, how does that work? How is that different than the programming aspect?
Yeah, and actually I was looking for some feedback from the faculty here on how to best design that, because I want to make sure that it really correlates with the courses that you're teaching, and that we're really kind of matched up in that regard. So it would be
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
So I think I don't think this is a programming class. Am I correct?
No.
This is a modeling class.
Yeah.
Modeling is engineering.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that probably answers the question.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is not slack. I think that also there is no longer explicitly a number of engineering design credits that we must have. It's just engineering topics.
Yes.
So I think that certainly what she's going to be teaching is engineering topics.
Mm-hmm.
The criteria no longer said you have to have so many units of engineering design.
What I'm excited about is that along with Lincoln's bioinformatics class, that we're on the way to either a professional certificate in bioinformatics, that is the genesis out of our department, or we could repackage it to One Health and include some adjunct rules, and we could actually create a certificate, professional certificate, either at the master's level or the undergraduate level. So this would be one of the core classes with Lincoln's classes, and we could start demonstrating.
I'm actually more interested in, rather than just a certificate program, maybe you can create PSM in bioinformatics or biostatistics, professional science masters. We already have one on the greenhouse topic, right? PSM degree in applied biosciences with emphasis on controlled environment agriculture. We can create pretty much the same thing along that line.
I just want to make a comment that I think one important features of this course is that it actually provides our students with skills and knowledge on analytical methods of big data, complex data. And that's really an emerging, really important skill set, I think, that enters the 21st century.
My comment is I wonder you show meeting education is transfer 25. You have 25 other students. Transfer 25 countries.
Oh, maybe that I got the wrong
Yeah.
number. I got the wrong number.
Transfer 25 is our little computer lab. 338 is going right downstairs.
Oh, that's the one.
I use that to net.
That one, yeah, 338. My apologies.
Well, I actually have one question. I think this answer is not just we want to attract a large population of students from outside of the department. Where will they be coming from normally?
Yeah.
And also the other question is the title. Do you think the title conveys accurately what this course is about? Forget about our students, but students from other colleges and things.
So that was exactly what was in mind, that we'd be able to service not just our students, but maybe a whole other population of students. And it's actually modeled against, so I'm part of an STC that we're just proposing and putting out in this week, and it's called the Gene Purple. I don't have to look at the title; it's a weird acronym. But the main concept is that one of the main problems in genomics and ecology these days is that no one is really doing this marriage of data between all of the genomic side with all of the ecosystem side and all of the types of things that we talk about a lot in this department in terms of sensors and being able to pull in all the environmental conditions. So when you think about growing things in a greenhouse, there's a tremendous amount of sensor-based data that's coming in. We can pair that with soil microbiome data, and we can really start to do these real-world analyses that look at ecosystems of data rather than just simply one kind of subset of the data. And so the idea is that we'd be able to recruit students for this course that would be coming in from ecology and evolutionary biology, that would coming from plant sciences, from bioengineering, so really across many different natural resources, absolutely, like West and all of those guys. So I think it would be really broadly applicable, and I think that it would attract students to our department, and especially in combination, with the course and the type of offering that we might start to really put forward with the bioinformatics space and big data analytics, and this course really does start to address those big data.
Actually, the Dean Behinder is sending a lot of messages, so I must read it. The first one is the how does Bonnie's proposed course complement LinkedIn's current course?
That's a great question. There's some I was thinking of your course more in terms of the statistics side. So this is more, so I think Minley's course is really strong on the statistical analysis and kind of biostatistics that needs to happen to do really a lot of the, I think, kind of hardcore development. But this is really more in the bioinformatics space, toolkit space, and understanding, so I think of engineering perhaps in a different way, like as we have discussed. So I think of it in terms of there are many, many different tools, many different approaches at looking at metagenomic data sets and looking at these kind of ecosystem level analyses. And I think that being able to put the tools together in the right combination and right way is one of the engineering pieces that, so instead of sort of putting a machine together, you're putting an analysis machine together instead. So that's kind of how I perceive it.
So the way I view it is that LinkedIn would almost be the first one in the series, because LinkedIn actually starts to explain what metagenomics is, how it's different from standard biology, and then how do you go about analyzing a group of bacteria or a community. And so it's more of the introduction to metagenomics and the power of looking at a community versus one item at a time. And then Bonnie's would be, okay, now that you know about metagenomics, here are some tools to start analyzing these large data sets that you can now start seeing that everything is in community. And don't just limit yourself to bacteria, that there are sensors and cameras and stuff like this. So that's how I view that there's a stepping stone. That LinkedIn would come first, and LinkedIn would be taught in the spring, and then hers would be taught in the fall.
Actually, can I just read the Dean's comments?
Yes.
So Dean said, responding to the previous discussion, he said, I think this is a good point. Most biologists are ignorant, especially the management of technology issues. And then the second comment he made, I think there is an opportunity for strong synergy with these two courses. So he's in great favor of creating this class, I guess.
I just want to comment. Yes, my course is more general. It's just the genomics. It could be metagenomics. So in my course, it could be three courses.
Yeah, that's perfect. That would be great.
So the student can be prepared, kind of. Okay.
That's great, and yeah.
And actually, LinkedIn is the only one taught in university. So that's so far. But right now, she's the lead agency in teaching that. So now we get the next lead agency on how to put it all together.
The only thing I wonder about is the titles, because I don't know what it's about with the titles. And so, is there a word that you can throw in there that is like the, I don't know if that would be appropriate, but like the metagenomics of genes to ecosystems or environmental, something that tells me, because when I read that title, I think of a general gen ed biology class.
Yeah. And totally flexible on that. I just want to say I just kind of created this on the fly.
That's good.
In a short amount of time. But I think absolutely, maybe we could just simply call it metagenomics. or metagenomics, or ecosystems, yeah, environmental metagenomics.
How about metagenomics, colon from genes to ecosystem?
Write that down and send
Yeah,
it.
okay,
Yep.
got it.
Sounds like better.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
I just have one technical thing that I have to throw in here. The $50 fee is going to have to wait until next December. We will not be able to apply it to this coming fall, so we'll have to figure out either through grants or something how to cover that because we missed that December 1st deadline.
I should say, we already have it covered.
Okay.
I was actually thinking we might just delete that fee because originally I had thought I'd just spin up a virtual machine at Amazon, but then I realized the cost is just too high for so many months because I think it's going to be about $300 a month to have that. So instead, I have servers for my own grants. And I have a really beautiful server we were just purchasing, and I'm just going to spin up a virtual machine that would be part of this course, and it's super easy for us to do. So we're just going to just host it on our own time. Yeah. But it would ultimately, I'd like to ultimately maybe charge a course fee, just so we could save that money for purchasing another machine that would be exclusive to this.
Okay.
Sounds good.
This is on. Is it on?
Is it green?
Yeah.
That's good.
What's the 15%?
That's good.
I move that we accept this course as a course for ABE, as a technical one for ABE.
Before we do that, I need to read Murad's comments about this. I believe this course is excellent, fits well with ABE's strategic plan and focus on bioinformatics and One Health. It will also look good for our upcoming ABE and APR reviews. Question: would the course be open to more enrollment than 25 to 30 students? Since this course has a good potential with SCH and attract more students, potentially from several departments and schools in UA. Is the limitation the capacity of the Shen's computer lab?
The limitation is mainly not having TAs to help teach maybe some of the computational portions, and then also the concept. I'm just not sure what sorts of resources. So I thought on this go round we would maybe just have a smaller, course size, 25 to 30, and then do an initial trial run, see how it goes. But most certainly we could make this a much bigger class, but it is because it is project based. We do need sort of maybe sections that would stand out from this, and maybe think about a slightly different structure instead of maybe actually have a formal course and lab component. And this one is really thinking from a minimalist perspective of just resources that we have. So, but I think we can grow this really in a lot of ways. So I ultimately think it would be much.
I second the motion.
Okay, so you have question?
Well, I just have a question on the prerequisites. Does any assess kind of like that before they come to that course?
Actually, I think that in terms of the prerequisites, it's actually modeled to have absolutely no prerequisites, like to just be able to say round up. But I think that I probably should add as a prerequisite women's class, because I think that could be, and then with permission from the instructor, something like that, because I know there are some other classes that do some preparation for these pieces, but it would be best if you could try to kind of route things through Lincoln first and then to me, so that we can really coordinate together.
So you want me to put department consent?
That would be good. Yeah, I don't know the terminology, so I'll learn it from you. Thank you.
Lincoln, what specific number of class?
The NCP 416A.
And it's also listed to ABE, right? No?
We don't have ABE 416A.
Was it process?
It was.
Can I
It
cross
was,
this?
but we took it away.
They took it away.
Can I cross this class?
Yeah, you can. But their department should approve this.
Okay.
We have no power about that process.
Can you help me figure out how to do that? Because I can think of a couple of departments where it would be really useful, so EEB and ECB as a starting point. I would love to do that because I think that would really help with the enrollment. At least the first round, and make sure we let people know about it.
Just to let you know that the Jim Bajan's College of Engineering, the teaching dean, he is generally against self-trust testing.
At the undergraduate level.
At the undergraduate level.
Because of
But
SCH.
because it has a graduate component. Why don't we process the graduate component?
You have to, sorry. If it's a combined graduate, undergraduate, you have, and you decide you're gonna cross-list it, you have to do both.
No, you don't.
It,
No, my class is cross-listed as a graduate class in watershed management, not as an undergraduate.
then in the system, technically, yes, you do. It's
well, we
it's
do
a
it.
technical thing.
This is going to be a moot point starting July 1st because all SHEs are all instructor regardless of whether it's ABE, CHE, ASM, whatever.
Unless it's taught you.
Well, okay, that's outside.
But beyond the SCH, beyond the SCHs, it's not a good point because it's attracting students, for example, in civil engineering or in ABE, if you have to take so many credits of ABE courses or so many credits of civil engineering courses, students in civil engineering take my civil engineering cross-listed course over the whole. So it's beyond the SCHs, it goes to attracting students because they're able to take it as a technical language in their own career.
Okay, so we're ready to vote? If you are in favor, then say aye.
Aye.
And then those who oppose? None? Okay, say yes, congratulations, you've passed. All right, let's move on. We have two more.
I'm excited to teach it.
The third one is ABE 492. So in the past, students were allowed to take 393, 493 internship, 399, 499 independent study, and they were able to use those units towards, actually, 1 unit of 393 is required, and then additional units of 393, I'm going to address that later, and then 399, 499, or 493, some of them were actually counted towards tech elective, and then we are not really clear how many such units would be counted towards tech elective, right? Because I remember that we have a couple of students who used about 5 such units towards tech elective. And then some other guys actually says, no, our limitation is only 3. So it was not really clearly defined how many such units can be used. And on the other hand, all the other College of Engineering and College of Science programs, they actually have 492, which is directed research, which is quite different from 393, 493, 399, 499, because 492 is letter graded, not pass-fail. And in the internship or independent study, there is no, the guideline for what they want to do. They just get trained in the things and experiences. And whereas in 492, the faculty, this is actually the faculty lab research here at the U of A, and then the faculty must provide a very concrete and clear objective from the beginning, at the beginning of this semester. And you have to have an evaluation mechanism, normally through the written report and presentation. Okay? So that's the difference between the 492 with the other internship or independent study. So the undergraduate committee already decided, already discussed about it, and then they are generally in favor of creating this one. The one discussion item I want to raise is that how much total units of 492, 393, 493, 399, 499 all combined together would be counted towards tech elective? Is it supposed to be 3 or 6?
I think that's a good question. I think we need to be careful. I think we ought to separate the 499 out completely because that's an independent study.
Okay.
I think that ought to be not talked about in the same breath that we're talking about 393, 493, 492.
I see.
I think we should be very careful about the number of students we use 499 or 299 or 399 and call it technical lectures because again, you have to read that. And you get a evaluator to not look at those and count up the student study. Right? can't look at the type of course. The internship is very clear, it's an internship. You have definitions and what involved. Every $3.99 and $4.99 is
I see. So you're suggesting do not use $3.99, $4.99 for tech elective. And only the, remember that 1 unit of 393 is not a tech elective, it's actually required for biosystems engineering majors. So maybe we can actually make it really simple then. Maybe 1 unit of 393 will be used towards required, and then 492 towards tech elective, and that's it.
I agree with Don, this is a different question, and I think it's important to tackle this perhaps with the undergraduate. Because it requires something.
We actually, yeah, otherwise we need to wait 1 more year.
Like example, there could be a suggestion in terms of the independent study that perhaps it has to be much more defined than it currently is. So these are curricular issues at this point.
The reason why we're bringing this to the table is because right now we have people who are on the pre-health track that actually take OChem. To 8 units of OChem, we require 9 units of tech electives. And because each of our tech electives are 3 units each, adding this 492 for 1 unit as would not have them to take extra units above our other students. And so they're actually doing more work than our other students who only have to do 128. They're actually doing additional units compared to our regular students on other tracks. And that was one of the reasons why I brought this to general students, because they're actually doing additional work above and beyond our regular students on other tracks.
Actually, another little bit of difficulty that we run into in the data and I've had dealing with this with some students is that a student may take 393 twice and they have trouble separating it into the internship and the technical
engineering.
I would recommend that, whether here or another committee meeting, I would recommend that we stick with 1 unit of 393, and if the student wants to do another internship, that they register for 493.
Yeah.
So that it's being separated, and I think you can register, you can take up to 6 units of 493. So, I mean, I think that that's clearly separates it, so we won't get into the trap that I've got some students when they say, well, I'm going to work all summer for George Cairo, and I do this for 3 units. And I say, sure. So they go out, and 1 unit counts, and it's trying to separate.
Actually, that's how we agreed in the undergraduate committee.
We can hear you.
I just have one question or clarification. The 499 has been used for courses that we cannot fill and students are interested to take that particular course. So I don't think we can ignore 499 as a technical elective.
I would want to.
But you just say,
what I just said earlier is if you put the technical elective from an ABE perspective, from an evaluator perspective, it's hard to think. We haven't had that problem for a long time.
Well, in the past we have.
In the past, we have had, but I don't think we've had a problem having a substitute 499.
I haven't seen any 499s in 2 years.
Yeah, but it was there.
It was, yeah, in past history it was.
It's like,
You're in charge.
Just one, so, I mean, I think it's great to have a 1 credit option of directed research, but so this will be distinctly different in that it's always going to be directed research, so ABET will understand that.
Sure.
So that's the main function, is to allow for that 1 credit that's an identifiable process.
Or more. You can get 6 credits.
Or more, okay, and then is it important for them to be able to get a grade?
Yeah. So the if the course is not offered and then they have to take 499 in the past, we can from this moment on, we can instruct them to take either 492 or maybe 493.
492 would be the best option because
it's level.
Yeah, 493 is an S or P.
It makes sense to have this option. So I move that we vote for ABE 492.
All right, and then we're going to talk about the how many. Yeah. So we have to talk about the how many units could be counted towards tax elected, because you don't have to actually make the decision right now. You just need to submit the course proposal and then let the course be created, and then we can deal with that. The maximum unit that can be used in the upcoming undergraduate the curriculum committee. Does this sound good?
Yeah, I would just like to say that I think we should be careful with these kinds of courses and not get used to technical language. Think back to all the other courses that we just approved, that we're going to talk about. We allow students to take these kinds of courses for technical language, and we're not going to fill our other courses. Like, I think if we were going to talk about this, I would say something like more than 3 credits in these kinds of courses, not for technical language. Otherwise, we'll get to a place where you're choosing courses and not students.
Well, I just wanted to point out that many College of Science and College of Engineering programs, they actually allow up to 6. But our situation is a little different from them because they do not want their students, because their classes are like 100 students, 150 students. But we don't have that kind of luxury. So. All right. So okay, let's vote. Everybody in favor of creating this class, say aye. Aye. All right. And then those opposed? Or abstain?
Johnny, when I create the class, I'm going to go 1 to 6 units or 1 to 3 units, because I do have to put a range in there.
I think, that's a good question.
Well, I don't think you just suggest the 3 units.
So 1 to 3 then, how about that?
Okay, 1 to 3, all right.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have a question. I have a follow-up question. Can it be a 593 class, 592 class 2? We have it listed as 492, 592.
I don't see the reason why not,
Why not?
However, we have to actually make it a little clear that if the graduate student is actually walking in my lab and then taking 592 in my lab and then count towards the major requirement, that's not acceptable, right?
Right.
So someone else's lab.
That is the guy.
Well, yeah, we need to take it to the graduate committee before that. No, I just say.
Next meeting is next week, right?
All right. We need to take it to the graduate committee and see what.
Okay.
That one we can leave.
That's right. Yeah, you can make about that. So the fourth one is Joel Barlow's class, and then you do. Yeah.
Jump question: do the people online have a copy of this or not?
Actually,
But I can project it on the screen.
okay.
Oh, good. Okay. That would be awesome. Thank you. That's-
You have this next one?
Okay. So,
We're sharing the screen, so we should be able to see this. Go ahead, Sharon.
it's sharing. Okay.
That's it. There you go.
All right. So I hope everyone can hear me. So the course is titled Integrated Engineered Solution in the Food, Water, Energy Nexus. So this is addressing the fact that the United Nations is predicting that food production by 2050 will have to increase by 60%, so it has to more than double. And food production, though, is intimately related to water use as well as energy use. So arguably, addressing this problem really represents the most important engineering problem in the 21st century. And that is why just one second.
Hey, Mark, can you please mute your microphone?
So that is why the food, water, energy nexus has become a popular term. Now, the UN Food and Agricultural Organization has published an official report on water, food, energy nexus. So there is more or less an official standard definition of food, water, energy nexus. It refers to the intersection zone among these three resources, and it constitutes an analytical concept that describes and addresses their critical interrelatedness and interdependence. So this course is about designing integrated food production systems that consciously incorporates water and energy conservation and regeneration issues. So these are the objectives. One is to gain a practical understanding of the interrelatedness and interdependence among food, water, energy, and engineering contexts within the bioproduction system. And then to gain technical familiarity with a broad suite of technologies, I call them the Nexus apps or technology apps, which serve as the building blocks or building units of an integrated food production system in the food, water, energy nexus. And then to design specific, cost-effective, and environmentally sustainable integrated engineering solutions. So part one would be the food, water, energy nexus, what it is. So it starts with problem definition in terms of the global challenge, what really food, water, energy nexus is, and then an example, and then design analytical tools for analyzing integrated solutions such as life cycle analysis and design value analysis. And then part two is focused on those different building block technologies that could be integrated in so many different combinations or permutations to come up with an integrated engineered solution. So plant factories, vertical farms, greenhouses, aquaculture, solar photovoltaics, anaerobic digestion, water catchment, hydropower, all the things suggested. And then part three is real-world case studies of examples of this integrated engineered solutions. So there's the Sahara Forest project, which has a prototype in Qatar. The seawater farm in Eritrea, which is in Eritrea, combining fish culture with salmon production and livestock production. Skygreen's vertical farm, which is an integrated vertical farm system in Singapore. Fujitsu, which is a plant factory in Japan. And then part four would be the students in teams actually coming up with their own original concepts of an integrated engineering solution. So those are the letter grades, and then these are the relationships to program outcomes. And then my future plan for this course is that, if I could go back here, ultimately later on, this could be subdivided into three modules. Part one could be module one, and that could be offered online as a one-credit course. Of course, I have to beat this up a little bit by including a few case studies of a real-world integrated engineering solution in the food, water, energy nexus. And then part two could stand on its own. That would be module two, and then module three. Module two would be online, and then part three and part four, the case studies as well as the design project, that would be module three, which would be a hybrid online and face-to-face type of course. In part two, of course, I will be inviting guest lecturers for this to talk about these different topics, which should be interesting to the students. That's it. John, you can take over and manage the questions and answers. Here, I'll go back to my seat.
Okay. This question is for Joel.
Yes.
Are the components of your current 452 and 552 that will come out of this, or that you might replace because it's entirely different file on that. It looks separate, but you address some of these issues before you
Not exactly the same, because 452 is globalization, sustainability, and innovation. So there are three parts. The second part is on sustainability, and there is an overlap between sustainability. However, the sustainability component of 452 is not exclusively focused on integrated engineering solutions. So this is a whole universe on its own.
So you are not teaching 481A?
I'm not. 481A, 581A is engineering of bioprocess or engineering or bioprocesses. And that's a CAMP course.
Yeah,
I taught that course for about, I don't know, 10 years or so. We came organically with Mark Wiley when Mark was here, and then ultimately it became me. But now it's being recalled by chemical engineering because it's really a chemical course. And so that's why I decided to develop it.
So they teaching?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought we're going to create our own OED1A, but this is like,
Well, but we cannot create exactly the same course.
Understand.
On the other hand, for instance, there's bioreactor production of cell cultures, so I can talk about bioreactor design as well as related topics to some of the topics that I offer in OED.
Sir, to you, Mike.
Thank you.
I wanted to congratulate Joel for doing the relationship to the program outcomes, and I encourage the undergraduate program committee to require that step for all future classes, because it's nice to know where all the classes will fit into our ABE program outcomes, and it will also then help the program.
Actually, if you're looking at the ABE 492 proposal, this is a single page. This is the ABE, the course syllabus form. You can actually add on the second page additional information like the course schedule, policy, and then some the disability, and then that kind of stuff. But the page is supposed to look like this.
Sorry, I missed that on yours as well. Thank you for putting that in, because it's very helpful in knowing.
He has a microphone.
Just a clarification, it says 582. So that 582 has to go through the graduate committee. Right now we're just discussing 482.
Yep.
Are we considering this as a design, tech, or core?
So does it have the engineering design component?
It has an engineering design component.
Again, I think we're outdated the way we define that, because engineering and design is not specifically in terms of numbers of credits or percentages. It's not specifically required by the exam. It's engineering topics is what's required. So actually, instead of calling our ABE electives design electives, we should probably just call them ABE electives or other electives or technical electives.
The Murad made a comment. Course is a good potential ABE tech elective course, and it fits well with ABE focus areas. Components for Nexus is discussed. I only suggest more stress on interconnectivity between each components. For example, food, water, food energy, water energy, and food water energy. I suggest diversifying part 3 would be very interesting. And actually, he suggested diversifying part 3. And the other user, unknown user, said, how will so many topics be included? What's
Ambitious.
Okay. I just, yeah, but by the way, and I agree with Dan that the heart of this course really is parts 3 and 4. This is kind of misleading because you have a long list, it's part 2, but that's not the heart of the course. It's just a survey. We're going to, of course, talk technically about each topic, but it's not the heart of the course. It's important for the students to have an overview of those available technologies, but ultimately part 3 is the heart of the course, which is the linkages, the nexus.
So it's actually not just the focusing on individual food and water and energy component, but it's more about connectivity, how they are related.
That's right.
Which is quite important.
I forgot to include, but again, this is, I would say the original model for this is to control the ecological life support systems of NASA, where, in space, everything has to be interconnected. Every output, waste output of one unit has to serve as an input to another unit, so that everything could be regenerated and recycled.
Yeah, you
so
have
that's
to.
the ultimate model.
Yeah, you have to drink your own urine, right?
Yes.
My issue was also in the definition, which I was really on the Nexus class. But I'm asking all this 14 of them, are they going to be lectures or what's the format?
Yes. That's an excellent question because I really would like to incorporate experiential learning in here. And so I think it would be a hybrid depending on the particular module. Like for agriculture, I really would like to ask physics, for instance, to take the students here to that facility CAC or over at URL. And then for greenhouses and biology, it would take them to CBAC as well. For bioreactors, I could take them to the district greenhouse. For algae, I can do the same, or we can take them to the arid waste. But at the same time, we'll have to provide it with some theoretical background information.
I think Mark's one question was those who are reading up for the lectures, with what you had just said, you can very small part of the class.
Oh, yeah. So we just have to design this in such a way that each one would not take a day or a full class.
You might consider, if you want to do these field trips, you may want to consider a small class fee eventually to cover either rentals of vans or something to cover that kind of.
That's very important.
And again, it won't happen this fall. The soonest it could happen would be, is this a spring or is this a fall class?
This is
a fall and spring.
No,
Sorry, it's just fall. Okay, so then if the soonest it could happen then would be fall of 2016. Okay.
2015.
No, well, the course fee could not be collected until the 16th.
I'm just concerned about the scheduling. Most of these courses are going to be offered in the fall. Too many courses in the fall, and the spring is going to be very limited.
I would say that both the undergraduate and graduate committees might want to, I mean, we won't be able to resolve this issue right away, but I think we've got to look at the offerings of our courses. We do have a problem with some students only take 2 of our courses that happen to be offered in the same semester, overlap, or we have problems with our schedule. I'm not more as able to suggest that all of our courses are offered one semester into the next semester.
Well, for this particular class, the 481A used to be offered in the 4th semester anyway. So I would actually put this. This is like the substitute for the 481A in a way. So I would actually put this class in the recommend to put this class in the 4th semester, whereas the link mix class is offered in fall. Spring. So in that sense, the bonus class should be offered in the fall. Yeah.
And your class is offered whenever?
It's not my class. Actually, what happens is that every single faculty member in ABE would have a section.
You're the author, though.
I'm just composer. I'm not owner of this class. Unfortunately, SCH under ABE 492 would not be counted. So this is just for the students' benefits, but not for us, unfortunately, as far as I know.
I move that the faculty approve Dr. Swell's post-course at the 42 level, pending review by the graduate committee for Friday.
Okay.
Second.
All right. So let's vote. Actually, I have a couple of questions before I can move on. Is this a survey course?
No, it's not.
No, it's not. I thought so. Another comment, this course has much potential to represent ABE department. I would like to have a copy of the proposal to review.
Okay.
All right, so let's move on. Anybody in favor of approving this class, saying aye?
I just have to ask a technical question. So are we going to vote on the 582 when?
Well, after the graduate committee was to.
So if we vote on this as the committee, does that mean that we have to meet again as the faculty before I enter it? Or are we agreeing that if the graduate committee approves it, that we can proceed with entering the course?
Well, I thought we were just talking about 480.
Right, but what I'm asking is if, are we agreeing that we're going to meet again as a faculty real quick to vote on the 582, or are we agreeing that if the graduate committee approves the 582, that I can go ahead and enter it? I just want to get the logistics here.
Because there's a deadline for the publication.
Yeah.
I think you should just enter it as 482 for the time being, and we can solve the 582 possible later.
So that would be a year from now, so I want to make sure that we're meeting the deadline.
Deadline is the deadline.
I have to get everything prepared and entered before the 15th. And, yeah, and it's a lot of work, so.
Can we approve it as 482, 582, and then inclusion in the curriculum is up to the graduate committee?
Okay, well, who's on the graduate committee that's attending this meeting?
And
Why
mine.
can't we just talk about it as a faculty as a whole, and we've got the majority of the graduate committee members here, haven't we?
Well,
We're all here.
We're all here.
I think what we need to ask is what is different for the graduate students? What's the difference? I mean, between 482 and 582.
Yes, sorry, I was not able to articulate that here. But the difference mainly would be in the extent of the scope of the design option. So the grad students would have a much more, so in other words, the undergrad students would design the integrated system, but the grad students would design the same thing, but at the same time have a detailed design on the particular component of their choice within the economic integrated system.
Committee members.
I would like to add an amendment to my motion that we intended to read that we approve this rule 42. Anybody second?
I second. We have to vote again, I guess. Those in favor of, you have to
I think there should be a statement in the,
yeah, sure.
to say, graduate students are required.
Something, you gotta specify that. It happens. So when
So those in favor of amending, what, 582, right?
Yep.
And signify by saying aye?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And then those opposed or abstain? I hear no one. All right, so the motion passed.
Actually, the motion didn't pass, the amendment passed.
The amendment passed, I'm
We're
sorry.
voting on the motion now. We need to vote on the motion.
One more question, for the graduate committee would be considered tech elective, right?
There is no tech elective for the graduate program.
Just
Tech elective is only for the undergraduate. All right, so that should be it for 4 new course proposals. That's a lot.
Can I mention the other one that I submitted? So one other thing that I had submitted, but they didn't have time to go over, was the old ASM 300 or 301 class, and it has design components. It would be just an elective, but I've had feedback from everybody that's looked at the curriculum in the past, and if we integrated some of the biotechnology, I think it'd be a great introductory online course.
What is
ASM 301 Introduction to Biosystems Engineering. I've taught it for 15 years as an ASM course, and all of our ASM courses, of course, were taken away. We've gotten into an issue, and I just want to mention this because I know we're out of time, but the 301 course now, any revenue that we generate, it goes to ag education. ASM 404, our irrigation course that we've been teaching for 25 years or 30 years, is going to be in the same boat. So if we want to maintain the revenue stream and if we want to teach it, they are in control of our ASM programs now. So we have to decide if it's worth it for us to offer them as an ABE elective that can also service those UMass students. And so I'm interested in that. It's already developed. It's just up to us as a faculty what we want to do with that.
I don't think we can combine our students with UMass students.
Engineering students, not engineering students.
Well, it's even a bigger gap. Our engineering students with you and non-engineering students, I don't think you can mix the two. Because there's too much of a gap in knowledge and ability.
But we could certainly help with the engineering students if they're, because
sure.
so that would be an acceptable combination.
For instance, the irrigation class is the one that's going to come up next fall.
Yeah, I'm just going to ask you about the 404. That course was ours from ages, and told that course, and why should they be given that course?
So we're giving the ASM program.
Right, and well, so we have it listed as an ABE class, but right now it's required for the ASM students to take it. And what happens is if we teach an ASM course, then ASM gets the revenue. And so this is a situation that is not going to resolve itself in any other way except the line in the sand thing.
Okay, so we may have developed a course, but we are not under any obligation to give them our course material. They have a title, they have a book, and there's maybe course objectives listed in the catalog. I don't see that there's any reason that we just have to hand our entire class over to them. When ASM was transferred from our department to ABE, we no longer have control over the curriculum or the courses. But we do have control over what we do with them. Don needs to stay. Cheers.
So is this course currently ASM 404?
It's ASM 404, but we have historically offered as ABE 404 as long ago as I could go back in the records, over 20 years. So it's been offered, but then once we started teaching the ASM courses, just everybody started taking the ASM courses. So historically it was ABE, so I don't know if that means it's still on the books.
But we did not let them take 456. We did not let them take 404 as part of the
It's almost been separated, actually. And I and others have been teaching it for 30 years. It's been around since
And I know we don't have time to deal with this, but it's something that's going to happen because it's scheduled for next fall. And so, I just hate for another department to start teaching irrigation. That's, I just want to put that out there.
Can you offer it as ABE 404 and we just can't we don't let our majors do it?
It's not a technology.
Oh, it's not? Oh.
So we have to deal with it.
Well, so we should be in conversations with Bobby Torres and their curriculum committee to find out, maybe they no longer need this course in their course group. If they do still want it, we have to decide how we want to handle it. We're going to be, the problem is we are so thin as a department that for us to do teaching classes that our students can't take doesn't make sense to me at this time. But we do get 75% of the revenue that is generated by the outreach. And so in 2 semesters of teaching what Steve was teaching last spring and last fall, right, in 2013, sorry, last spring and the fall of a year ago, we brought in about $24,000, which is nice. It gives us very flexible, they put it in the most flexible account that we can, and I use now to support our graduate program. So there is that, but we don't get 100% of it back because Bobby is the controller of the ASM classes for outreach. Outreach courses will be outside of RCM. It won't have the same rules attached to it. There may be additional, College of Agriculture may take out a tax eventually, so we may see less and less of what we are putting into it. So it's a trade-off. I again am leery about teaching classes that our students can't take with the minimum number, with the small faculty size that we have.
would agree, but, okay, I misunderstood, so we are still getting 75%.
Well, so only for 2 semesters, so fall of 2013 and spring of 2014 is what I've been able to negotiate so far. I haven't been able to go back any further. We're not teaching any this fall for the program for next spring.
And Don, you'll remember that this is the program that they agreed to give us all of the revenue that we generate. We have that in writing, and they decided that we were making a little too much money, and that they've changed the agreement.
I agree with Kit as far as supplying irrigation course that you can take for the engineering students. We have 3 of those right now that we can take. Hybrid, or actually they're all hybrid, 455, 456, and 458. So all of those can be taken by students. Engineering students in UM.
So we will have to make a choice. We either teach it to non-engineers and don't help our students, or we don't teach it and somebody else teaches your irrigation course. And we still have some time to talk about it. We don't have to make any decisions right now, but this is a discussion.
It's also processed with sweats.
Traditionally, it was a management, so the service course from the beginning.
Plant science and soil.
Yeah, everybody, non-engineers were able to take it, and we get good number of students from that. The same thing which I used to teach at hydraulics for non-engineers. We used to have the same thing. So we can teach it, but we have.
So is the undergraduate committee done? We're down to the wire. Is there any report that the graduate committee would like to make quickly? Oh, undergraduate? Okay.
Yeah, we're starting a committee in the college to add 1 unit computer classes. So we'll have experts teach C, and we're going to talk to Bonnie too, but I know she's busy. But anyway, courses that related to GIS, C, things that our students in the college will be interested in, we're going to have people with expertise develop them.
And this is Cal's college you're talking about, or COE? Okay. Okay, Maluna, would you like? Please go up forward.
Basically, the graduate committee met on Tuesday, December 2nd, and discussed about 6 things. But the first one is the accelerated master's program, the ABE, Master of Engineering program. The approval process is going graduate handbook, it says, the requirement for master of engineering, both of them, says 3 units of experimental design work. Some confusion about which one of the experimental design courses are we going to take, but instead of just saying the design of experiment course, the graduate committee recommends just put it ABE 571. It's Lin Ying's course. That's a recommendation we did, and if you want to vote? I don't know if there is a need to vote. I'm not going to make that
Where's it? Where's that? There you go. There you go.
Any question or anything? Yeah.
My question would be, you limit and that you around the state by having analysis department, where they might be, for instance, you allow them to limit that they take the on a class like an AU and utilize that.
This is, if it is a graduate level course, and it's, I think we really said equivalent, but we didn't want to put it there. It's the situation of the advice.
Yeah, that's right. We essentially can do that with any course, and the discussion centered around, for example, the same requirement will be for PhD students. And if we have a PhD student come in who did their master's degree at Chipingo Autonomous University or someplace, we can always say that they had an equivalent course and make that substitution. Do the same. I'd rather we do it on a case-by-case basis and put the or equivalent in, because then we start arguing over every single graduate student whether this is equivalent or not. If we just say 571B, all our students on campus will take it.
I just want to say that in terms of expanding out my course in years to come, I would love to do an online component, and it could be good for that because it is project-based and potentially interactive. So anyway, just
great.
Okay, that's topic number one. I think but we need to vote.
Did you look on the screen to make sure that?
Anybody from? I didn't see anybody.
It is after 10:30, so Marat.
Any question or discussion, or we have already voted? I forgot. Okay, I'm sorry. The third one is really just a suggestion. Some of us are having difficulty defining what math, statistics, or numerical analysis course means. For that reason, we suggest that we have a list of possible courses that go under those categories: statistics, mathematics, numerical modeling, and so what I'm trying to get is, if anybody has a suggestion for courses that go under this category, please let me know. And that's really more to help faculty members advise. The fourth one is committee membership for MS and PhD, especially the PhD one. Don't forget the handbook which we have voted says there have to be 2 tenure track members in the participants committee from ABE. From ABE, yeah, that's the most important part. And there is graduate college have a special member or something like that.
The grad college policy is there must be 3 tenured track faculty members on all committees. You can have as many members as you want, but it has to be 3 tenured track faculty members. A year ago, we decided that we would allow 2 ABE tenure track, and then another tenure track from another department across the university may serve as our 3rd member on our ABE 10 team. And then the chair should be an ABE tenure track member as well. So that's my issue is more equivalent. We're actually more restrictive than the graduate colleges because our professors of professional practice would not be able to lead any master's or PhD. And I think we need to talk about that.
because I think we could actually then, when we can change our rules to say or equivalent, so that our professors of professional practice, and we make it more of them in the future rather than less of them. So do we want to start a tier system in our small department? And I would, I'm not for that.
The chair, the graduate committee will, the graduate college will allow for a professional practice to be a co-chair. But they cannot be a chair by themselves because they're not a tenure track faculty.
But see, there is a statement in there that I would go to the mat for my professional practice professors in that it says or equivalent. And in our department, it's equivalent. Go ahead.
Okay.
Well, so like I said, I would like to.
Yeah, and I think one needs to go to graduate college to answer that question. I think the or equivalent originally came in for people like Pedro and Mark and so forth. Pedro and Mark are not tenure track faculty, but they are equivalent because they're continuing employment. Continuing employment is considered by the university to be equivalent in tenure track. So you don't need to worry about Mark or Pedro when you serve. You have a problem sort of like.
Oh, now
Yeah, you did before. Because you did
Right. So they can serve as chairs without going to graduate college because by the default definition of what continuing employment is, they're equivalent to tenure. Anybody who has a continuing employment track or continuing employment is equivalent by the university definitions of tenure track. We don't worry about them. The only ones we need to worry about are Camille right now and Peter, yes, because they have non-tenure track or equivalent appointments as a research associate professor or an associate professor of practice.
Yeah,
I think it's worth pursuing, though. I really would like to get a clarification on that.
Yeah.
And I'm proposing to the graduate committee that instead of saying that we have to have 2 tenure track ABE faculty members on every committee, that we say that we have to have a minimum of 1 of those committee members to become ABE. We could have another committee member who's not tenure track or in one on the committee, as long as we have 2 tenure track or tenure faculty members from another department. We can have, that's the case we have right now, we have 3 tenured faculty members on the committee, but only 1 of them should be part of the department.
Well, I think this is something which we need to discuss in the graduate committee further.
Absolutely.
But the logic behind having 2 ABE faculty members was to give our own faculty members the opportunity to be in a member of the.
I'm not arguing that but I'm arguing that one of those 2 could be Peter or Camille.
Yeah, well, I think we need to take it to the. We need to take it to the.
No, the grad college doesn't have anything to do with that. That's our own requirement.
No.
The graduate college says 3, but they don't say that 2 have to come from your department.
No, they're actually saying that tenure or people.
Right.
Yeah,
but by their definition, research associate professor or professor of practice is not equivalent.
Right, that's
I'm saying we could require a minimum of 1. And that's our own definition. That definition was put in there that 2 of the tenure track faculty have to come from ABE. That's the definition from the graduate committee of this department, not from the graduate college.
So my worry is that if only 1 out of the 3 committee members, only 1 is from ABE, 2 from the other department.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that 1, there be 2 ABE faculty members, only 1 of which is required to be tenured.
Actually, the graduate college requires minimum of 3 to be.
I know. I'm not arguing that.
Okay. I think let's figure it out in the graduate committee, and then we can come back and present it to the faculty. The other topic which I just want to mention is recruitment. Our graduate student numbers are really getting low, so we need to do something about it. We have been discussing in the retreat and also in several other meetings. One of the things which the graduate committee suggested is to really go after the national needs fellowships like the NASA, the USDA, NSF, and also try to get some things from Mexico, Chile, or wherever the money is. So we're going to be really trying to be proactive and try to get a proposal as a group, not necessarily the graduate committee. Everybody can be part of that group and go forward.
We agree with the graduate committee would take the
Yes.
initiative to write proposals on these types of things.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that only members of the graduate committee are going to get those graduate students. It just means that we're going to take the initiative.
Yes. Yes. That's what we agreed. So I'll be following this and try to see wherever we can get some RFPs. The last one is about the website. The graduate committee felt really the website that represents the graduate education is not really, for lack of it, not really a good one. So we wanted to really change that, and I've discussed it with Kit and also Brian. And if anybody has some suggestion as to how to really change it, and also if you have pictures, that's really one of the things which we are lacking. Please forward it to me or Brian so that we can really improve the way it looks right now. And that's really our first recruitment exposure. I mean, for that reason, we need to really improve it. Okay, that's really all what we have for the graduate committee report.
Alrighty, thank you. It's getting close to beyond that time. Yes.
Can you just talk a little bit about the plan, maybe the financial picture, just because of the planning for the schedule?
So it's, what I would like to do is to continue our discussions of the 5 mission areas and start fleshing those out. And one of the things that I'd like to do is, Brian?
Yes.
Do you remember what it? So one of the things that I would like to do is we're starting to flesh out a controlled environment agriculture. Brian is working with Marat and Jean, and I just want to show you kind of. So when we go to, if we go to research, what I'd like to do, instead of having all of this word kind of stuff, I'd like a picture that's going to have 5, like a pentagram kind of thing with pictures and the titles in the front, and then you'd roll over the picture and get some of these words, and then for more information, you would then go to the controlled environment area. The faculty that are going to be associated with those areas would have their pictures there, a link to their profile, and so now they'll be able to get more information that way. These are actually then going to be linked back to, let's see, and back to that area. What I want to show you also under the faculty, we're going to, so we're going to have then these water resources, or this will then have a link back to that research one. So, so that's what's in the plan, and then we're going to have pictures here, that descriptor, and then the projects and the research from there. And if there are specific pages, tools and applications, for instance, I'm seeing for the bioinformatics and the metagenomics, the tools may be, we're either going to repackage the bioinformatics, but I think of it as a tool that is cross-cutting, and so it would be under there, and then we could also then have information on remote sensing and sensors and controls and whatnot. Yes.
That's great. My concern actually is the dates.
Okay, the date I'm looking at, would be the first 2 days before school starts, the Monday, Tuesday.
When will January?
January 15th, I think, is when school starts. Is the Wednesday, it's the third Wednesday of the second Wednesday. Yeah, because I had enough people even on the forward planning committee that were not going to be there that first full week of January. And although I realize that preparing for your spring classes will get interrupted if we have our retreat then. I just think it's going to be important for us to flesh this out and to really be committed to all 5. If we're not, we can condense them down, but I would really like us to start fleshing out these mission statements and having that retreat. And that's
So
what
it would be the 12th and the 13th, Monday, Tuesday.
Monday, Tuesday.
And maybe we could end a little early so that people that had to get classes or whatever could still have a few hours to work.
So maybe all day Monday, half day Tuesday kind of thing. I'll be working with Jean and Terry to see if we could use the SEAC again, because it's very conveniently located and it doesn't cost us a whole lot of money. And I want to remind everybody that Friday the 19th we're going to have our Industrial Advisory Council meeting. That's going to be at the Student Union. The agenda is still in draft phase. I'll talk about web improvements in 2 weeks, but Charlie wanted me to, so back in June there was a concern from CALS that our buildings were not as secure as they could be because there was a lot of keys out. We didn't know who they were going to, and so, and with the federal surplus property, they wanted to make sure that we had more security. So we've implemented a program, and we are going to have the Butler building, the lab, and the irrigation biodiesel lab will all be rekeyed sometime next week. And to get your own key, you will have to go to the Campus Ag Center group, and they will be in control of it. Charlie will no longer be the one that you'll check out your keys for. You'll be going to Steve Hughes' office. So I just want to let you know that. So next week, that's when it's going to happen. However, I wanted an opportunity first. We didn't get done with any of the student clubs. I didn't know if there were any announcements that wanted to be made before we done.
As soon as I get the list with David, we'll know. We'll know how many institutions are going to be.
Great.
And that's all I can ever bring out. We can do much. And then we'll get officers.
Wonderful.
Are there dates or deadlines for signing up for the graduation end of the semester dinner or?
So we have 3 opportunities to celebrate our graduates. On Thursday the 18th, it's the College of Engineering graduation ceremony, which is going to be in Centennial Hall starting at 7 o'clock. We have students that will be walking, and we have graduate students who will be hooded. This is the first time, because the university is no longer holding winter commencement ceremonies, they've given that responsibility over to the colleges. College of Engineering is having their very first one. They will be holding it in Centennial Hall. We will be having our dinner at the Doubletree Inn at 7 o'clock on Friday the 19th, and sign-ups and RSVPs. I think the announcement.
Yeah, I sent an announcement, so please respond. I know that Dawn and Marilyn are going to be celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. They will be there. But please RSVP. It's really important to the students that we support them, and so it's really important that we're there.
And then the College of Agriculture has their winter commencement Saturday morning. I believe it starts at 9 o'clock. We do have students that, I'm trying to confirm whether we have students that are going to show up to that. If we do, then I think our faculty should be there as well to support their graduation. So that's 3 opportunities that we get to show support to our students. And I'd like you in regalia.
And traditionally, the College of Ag, the life sciences, they actually will allow our undergraduate students to walk across the stage and have their name read. Traditionally, Cal's graduation has been a lot nicer.
We're planning the engineering. We're going to make it very nice.
Yeah. It was nice last time that we did it that way, but they can have a place.
That's right. That's right. They can. And so if you have any graduate students that are graduating, confirm with DEVA which one they're attending, the College of Engineering or the College of Agriculture. Make sure that you're there in your regalia. I do have one cap and gown. That's extra, that if you haven't gotten your stuff in and you don't have your own, I can lend it out for those 2 days because I have
Well,
mine.
we already know who they are. They're Stacy and Wenyu, because Scott's going off to Ohio, so we know he's not going to be
And we
there.
know for sure those two are attending both.
Yes, they're attending both, and obviously somebody's going to China, and he already walked in spring, and Ilsa walked in spring, so it's only our two getting played. And then our undergraduates are Nicholas, Andrew's only going to go to the dinner, and then Monica Rodriguez, and then Stacy Tolbeson, of course, is our PhD, and then I'm drawing blanks now that I'm saying the names. So it's Nicholas, Monica, and Andrew, and Wenyu, and then there's one more. We have 6.
There's one more undergrad. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And I'm totally drawing a blank. I sent out the list, and when I sent out the invitations to our dinners.
So I would encourage as many faculty as you can to go because actually deans do pay attention to this, and they do tell me when people don't show up to things. So let me know. I'm highly encouraging you to attend. They're actually inspiring to go. The students really appreciate it, and they don't take that long. Are there any other announcements from the floor? And unfortunately, I can't see on this who. All right, so we're going to, how do I see who's chatting and who's on? Oh.
I'll keep going out and you put this arrow.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Bye-bye.